Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the one skill that can make or break any project. It's the hidden force that keeps everything on the rails, whether you're leading a huge team or just trying to manage your own goals. We're talking about the power of control.
So let's be real for a second. We've all been there, right? You've got this beautiful plan. I mean, it's perfect. Every single detail is mapped out. And then you watch it completely unravel the second it hits the real world. So why does that happen over and over again?
Well, a lot of the time, it starts with the money. You think you've got a solid budget, but then surprises happen. Unexpected costs pop up, things get delayed, and before you know it, you're way over budget.
And that budget problem, it almost always leads to a time problem. Those delays start to cascade, and suddenly that comfortable schedule you built becomes this mad dash to the finish line, and you're just watching deadlines fly by. And this is what it all leads to. That big, exciting goal you started with, it starts to feel, well, kind of impossible. The whole thing just feels out of control. So how do we stop this from happening? Well, the answer is all about mastering what we call management control. Now, look, I get it. The word control can sound a little intense, like you're micromanaging everything. But that's not what this is about. Think of it more as a strategic skill for keeping your plans alive and well. At its heart, control is actually a really simple two-step dance. First, you check in. You verify if things are actually going according to plan. But here's the part everyone forgets, the most important part. You have to actually do something about it when they're not. You take corrective action. It's not a one-time thing. It's this constant cycle of checking and fixing. And hey, this is not some new business fad. This idea is as old as management theory itself. Henri Fayol, one of the godfathers of modern management, was talking about this over 100 years ago. He saw it as the glue that holds everything else together. Planning, organizing, all of it. Without control, the rest is just wishful thinking. So how does this actually work day to day? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a GPS for your goals. It's a simple 4-step loop that you can use over and over to get you where you need to go. Here's the whole roadmap right here. First, you gotta set your standards. That's your destination. Then you measure your performance to figure out where you are right now. Next, you compare the two to see if you're off course. And finally, you take corrective action to get back on track. Let's break each one down. All right, step 1, setting standards. This is all about being crystal clear. A standard is just a fancy word for a target. It could be a budget number, a sales goal, a production target, anything. If you don't have a clear standard, you're basically just driving around with no destination in your GPS. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere specific. Okay, so you have your destination. Now for step 2. You've got to measure what's really going on. This means getting real data, not just relying on gut feelings. What are the actual sales numbers? How much have we actually spent? This gives you that little blinking blue dot on the map that says, you're here. Now, this is where the magic happens. Step 3 is where you put your plan right next to reality. You take your standard, your destination, and you compare it to your actual performance, that blue dot. And you ask the simple question, are we on track? This is the moment your GPS shouts, hey, you took a wrong turn. And that brings us to the final and, frankly, the most important step. Because just knowing you're lost doesn't get you unlost. You have to actually do something. This is your GPS saying, recalculating, and giving you a new turn by turn. Maybe you need to change your approach, move some resources around, or even adjust the original plan. Whatever it is, you take action. So that's the 4-step process. But to really put it into practice, managers need the right tools for the job. And as you can probably guess, these tools have changed a lot over the years. You can really see the evolution here. On one side, you've got a classic, budgetary control. It's simple, effective, and all about tracking money. But what if your biggest challenge isn't money, but time and complexity? That's where modern tools like PERT come in. PERT is basically a visual map for your entire project that shows how every single task connects. It helps you find the critical path, so you know exactly which delay will mess up the whole project. But here's something really important to remember. Just having a control system isn't enough. It has to be a good one. Because let me tell you, a bad control system can actually make things way worse. So what's the difference? It's all about finding a balance. On one side, a great system is forward-looking and flexible enough to handle surprises. And, of course, it can't cost more to run than the money it saves you. But on the other side, there's reality. You can't control what the government does, or if the market suddenly shifts. Your team might hate feeling like they're being watched all the time. And let's be honest, how do you set a hard standard for something like creativity or team morale? It's tough.
So, after all this, the process, the tools, the challenges, what's the big idea? What's the real point of all this control stuff?
I think this says it all. At the end of the day, good control isn't about having power over people or catching them making mistakes. It's about making progress. It's the framework that allows everyone to adapt, to learn, and to actually move forward together toward that goal.
And that's what I want to leave you with. Think about it. Where in your own world, maybe a project at work, a personal goal, even just your finances, where could you apply this simple 4-step loop of setting a standard, measuring, comparing, and correcting to finally turn your plan into a reality?